Good evening. So today I'm going to present on Spandana Sphoorty Financial Limited, which is an NBFC MFI that focuses on giving loans to people in rural areas, predominantly women. So their vision is to be the largest microfinance institution by 2025, serving the financial needs of the low-income segment of the country. And their mission is to offer a range of financial products and services to low-income households and individuals to improve their quality of life. So let us know our company. Spandana's journey began in 1998, and within 5 years, the company grew to become the largest MFI in India and the sixth largest MFI across the globe by 2003. Spandana, which was founded by Mrs. Padmaja Reddy in 1998, was initially set up as a cooperative society, and then it later transformed into an NBFC and then finally as an NBFC MFI. Prior to founding Spandana, Mrs. Reddy worked at an NGO in Andhra Pradesh whose motive was to help underprivileged build homes, provide clean drinking water, sanitation, and health education. While working at this organization, Mrs. Reddy got inspired by how an unsecured loan can help underprivileged people, especially women, make a living and come out of poverty. So, given the required support, these women they can bring about a change among themselves, their families, their community, and the whole society at large. So, with this conviction, Mrs. Reddy wanted to scale up the program by extending loans to many more women from the same NGO. And when she did not get support internally, she decided to quit from the NGO and start Spandana. So, with this humble beginning in 1998, today the organization has expanded its roots to over 18 states across India, with its head office in Hyderabad, and it has over 1,000 branches and more than 8,200 employees working at the head office and branches. Spandana got listed in 19 August 2019. Let us have a look at their fundraising journey. In 2008, JM Financial and Low Capital invested 500 million, and this was followed by Valiant Capital investing 100 crores in 2009. In 2017, Spandana raised 5.1 billion equity capital from Kanchanjunga and Kedara AIF1. Moving on to their business. So they basically have five business segments: um, joint liability group loans, interim loans, loans against property, personal loans, and blue lemon loans. So the first one, JLG loans, which are also called as Abhilasha or Chetana. These are unique loans that are designed especially for low income households who aspire to improve their financial well being. The main objective of this loan is to empower women in setting up and expanding income generating activities, smoothen their household cash flows, and acquire productive assets. So, this has a hassle free weekly, bi weekly, and monthly repayment options. So, it ensures that their clients can save from their daily cash flows and don't face much repayment stress. Their loan size is up to rupees 80,000 and it has a tenure of 1 to 2 years. Interim loans are one of their products that help borrowers who are struggling to meet their short term liquidity requirements, especially during tough times. So they are like top up loans that are given to already existing borrowers who have not defaulted in the past, and it helps them meet their working capital needs, business expansion, children's school fees, etc. So this loan is offered to an individual on a group guarantee basis, and the loan amount is up to rupees 20,000 with a loan tenure of 1 to 2 years. The third category, loan against property. So Spandana designed the loan against property product with the aim of providing, they had the motto of providing big ideas a small helping hand. It is offered in states of Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu, and it helps support business expansion, working capital requirements, or to acquire assets. The loan size is up to rupees 20 million and it has a tenure of 1 to 8 years. Spandana also provides personal loans, which are given mainly for four reasons. The first is for business development. which includes meeting working capital requirements and increasing the scale of business. The second one is for purchasing livestock, which includes practicing animal husbandry and dairy business. The third one is for purchasing stock or raw materials for business activity. Fourth, for completion of house construction or renovation. So these loans help women to expand their existing income generating activities, and it also helps them get productive assets and come out of poverty. Their loan size is up to 2 lakhs and it has a tenure of 1 to 3 years. The last segment, Blue Lemon Loan, it is given for purchasing household appliances on affordable EMI basis, and the size is up to rupees 20,000 with a tenure of 1 to 2 years. Moving on to their shareholding structure. So Spandana is a promoter-driven company. As we can see, they have a stake of 62.6% in the company. Their promoters are Padmaja Reddy, who's the founder, Vijaya Sivasamy Reddy, who's a relative of the founder, and he also played a major role in uh, setting up Spandana. And then Kanchanjunga Limited and Kedara Capital Fund 3 LLP. The top 5 public shareholders for Spandana are Kanchanjunga Limited, Mrs. Padmaja Reddy, Valiant Mauritius Partners FDI Limited, Kedara Capital Fund 3 LLP, and ICICI Prudential Life Insurance Company. Moving on to their subsidiaries. Spandana has 2 subsidiaries, Chris Financial Limited and Caspian Financial Services. Chris Financial Holdings became a subsidiary of Spandana in December 2018. So it is also an NBFC, which is a 98.5% subsidiary of Spandana Sphoorty. And it was set up to operate in those states and asset classes that Spandana could not because of its status as an NBFC MFI. So Chris Financial offers loans against gold, loans against property, business loans, and personal loans, and operates mainly in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, targeting households with an annual household income lesser than 1,50,000, and it offers both secured and unsecured loans. Currently, Chris Financial has 81 branches covering 20 districts and more than 2,000 villages. It has 529 employees currently in its branches. The second subsidiary, Caspian Financial Services, it is a wholly owned subsidiary company which was incorporated in October 2017 and has been a subsidiary ever since. As of FY 2022, Caspian Financial Services is yet to start any commercial operations. Moving on to their geographical presence. Spandana's operations are well diversified at the branch, district, and state levels. As you can see in this map, the central Indian states and some South Indian states have very high Spandana penetration, except Telangana. And this pan-Indian presence, it helps them penetrate into locations where they are already present and also reach out to more congruent geographies. In order to address geographic concentration risk, they have exposure caps at the state, district, and branch levels. And currently, they are present in 18 states across more than 1,000 branches. And their top 3 states constitute to less than 47.5% of the AUM. The top states having the most of the AUM concentration are Madhya Pradesh, Orissa, Karnataka, and Maharashtra. Moving on to their promoters. So Spandana has 4 promoters. First, Ms. Padmaja Reddy. She founded Spandana Sphoorty and took it from a very humble, not-for-profit beginning to one of the largest MFIs in the country. She scripted a turnaround story for Spandana, which went into CDR post the 2010 microfinance crisis by reviving it, and she also played a major role in Spandana getting listed in 2019. So currently, she's serving as a non-executive director on the board, and she has more than 24 years of experience in financial services and development domains. She has a master's degree in business administration, and she has pursued several trainings on microfinance from Naropa University, Durham University Business School, and Harvard Business School. She has a 0.72%, sorry, 14.91% stake in the company. And the second promoter, Mr. Vijaya Sivarami Reddy, he has a 0.72% stake in the company. So he was also part of the founding team of Spandana, and he has been associated with Spandana ever since its inception, and he played a crucial role in setting up its operations in its initial starting stages. He was, in fact, the branch manager of Spandana's very first branch in Guntur in Andhra Pradesh. So, prior to working with Spandana, he was a lecturer who worked in educational institutions for nearly 10 years. The third promoter, Kedara Capital Fund 3 LLP. So, it is a limited liability partnership incorporated in 2020. It is a private equity fund based in Mumbai, and it focuses on growth oriented strategic and minority investments in India. It has been formed to make value-oriented private equity investments in Indian businesses that have significant potential for financial performance and improved business growth. So, Kedara Capital Fund 3 became a promoter of the firm in FY 2022, and it has a 4.57% stake in the company. The fourth promoter, Kanchanjunga Limited, is actually a special purpose vehicle. And initially, Kedara had invested in Spandana through the Kedara Capital Fund One Limited, and this fund picked up a stake through the special purpose vehicle Kanchanjunga Limited, which has a 42.4% stake in the company. Moving on to the board of directors, Ms. Abanti Mitra, she is the non-executive chairman and independent director. She has over a decade of experience in mass market, microfinance, credit rating, and consulting. And she is engaged in consulting assignments with institutions focused in the bottom of the pyramid clients, marketing research and advisory for wholesale insurance companies, microfinance institutions, etc. Mr. Jagadish Kapoor, Independent Director, he served as a Deputy Governor for RBI, and he was part of the boards of several banks like Bank of Baroda, State Bank of India, Exim Bank, etc. And is currently on the boards of many organizations like Manappuram Finance, LIC Pension Fund Limited, and many more. R.K. Kamath, Nominee Director of Kedara Capital. So he was the former chairman and managing director of Punjab National Bank. He also served as a chairman of Punjab National Bank's housing finance and oversaw their transformation and rapid growth. He also worked with Corporation Bank, Bank of India, and Allahabad Bank, where he was a chairman and MD. Mr. Sunil Sharma, another nominee director from Kedara Capital. So he's the managing partner, and he was also the co-founder of Kedara Capital, one of Spandana's promoters. And he has served as the managing director for General Atlantic, before which he was with McKinsey and Co. Mr. Kartikeya Dhruv Kaji, another nominee director from Kedara Capital. So before working in Kedara, he was with the Mumbai office of Temasek Holdings, and he was also working as an investment banker in Merrill Lynch and Perella Weinberg Partners. Mr. Bharat Shah, an independent director, he was at HDFC Bank since its inception, and he has played a major role in their formation. He is currently the chairman of HDFC Securities Limited, 3M India Limited, and Exide Industries. And he's also on the boards of various companies like Tata Sky Limited, Mahindra Life Spaces, etc. Mr. Deepak Vaidya, Independent Director. He was the country head of Schroeder Ventures India operations, and he has also served on the International Advisory Board of NASDAQ for 8 years. He's the chairman of Strides Shasan Limited. He's also director in Apollo Hospital Enterprise Limited, UTI Capital Private Limited, etc. Ms. Padmaja Reddy. So we have spoken about her. She is a non-executive director currently, and she's also founder and CEO of Kirtana Financial Limited. Mr. Amit Sopti, nominee director of Kedara Capital. So he is a director in the private capital division of Ontario Teachers Pension Plan. and he has more than 20 years of experience in private equity and investment banking. He has also worked in large organizations like Unitas Capital, Roan Capital, and Merrill Lynch. So moving on to risk mitigation. So Spandana has a very good system in place for risk mitigation, and um, it for three main key risks like concentration risk, political risk, and operational risk. Spandana has a very good strategy. So for concentration risk, Spandana has portfolio caps based on net worth, and it also has disbursement caps at the state, district, and branch levels. Apart from this, they also have borrowing dependence caps. And to manage political risk, um, they focus on responsible lending and fair pricing, and they remain focused mainly on rural areas, and they avoid over indebtedness and multiple borrowing. And to curtail operational risk, they focus on process controls and non-negotiable norms. So key focus areas for this include product and process design, caps on loans disbursed, strict employee transfer policy, etc. Moving on to demonetization. So I've taken the yearly data here because I couldn't get the quarterly data during these years. Um, when we look at the AUM, we can see that there was no major fall. Actually, there was no fall in AUM, and it has actually increased from 12,000 million to around 12,969 million in FY 2017. So, in line with the impact on the entire MFI industry, Spandana had experienced some delays and defaults in loan repayments post the demonetization announcement. So, this led to some increases in GNPA. Their PAR, which was at zero point 0.3 before demonetization was announced, increased to 4.36% by 31st March 2017. However, these adverse effects were not widespread and were mostly concentrated in few states like Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, and Karnataka. Their ROA and ROE was also low for FY 2017 due to low PAT. So their profit after tax had fallen to 529 million in FY 17 from around 2,400 million in FY 2016. So Spandana dealt with demonetization through constant engagement with their clients and reassurances of continued services by having village level meetings and awareness camps. So, by being proactive, it led to a much lower impact of demonetization on their operations compared to the rest of the MFI industry. By March 2017, their operations were largely normalized and there were no further delays or defaults in repayments. And by just 6 months, Vandana got back to 95% collection efficiency. Moving on to COVID 19. Throughout the major period of COVID 19, that is FY 21, AUM has actually risen continuously. It saw a fall in quarter 1 FY 22, after which it has again subsequently risen. Um, Most of Spandana's borrowers, like 95%, are in rural areas, which fortunately have been relatively less affected by COVID 19. And most of their borrowers engage in activities like dairy farming or agricultural activities. And so their cash flows and repayment capabilities did not see any major impact. So, because of this, during quarter 4 of FY 21, their disbursements were the highest of around 2,426 crores. In quarter 2 of FY 2022, however, they had a loss of 58 crores because of provisions and write-offs of around 150 crores. So this led to a fall in ROA and ROE in quarter 2 FY 2022. Otherwise, ROA and ROE have been largely stable. And the price to book value have also not seen any major rise or fall. And it was at 1.5 in quarter 2 FY 2022 compared to 1.4 in quarter 1 FY21. So it is a GNPA and NNPA that have continuously risen from quarter 1 21 to quarter 1 2022. And then it has fallen in quarter 2 of FY22 owing to provisions and write-offs. Spandana managed COVID-19 comparatively well compared to its other peers, owing to its experience in handling past crises and its diversified footprint. It had a very good cash position and good collection efficiency. So it was able to come out of the COVID-19 crisis fast. Moving on to their forensics. Spandana got a score of 19 out of 23 and a percentage of 82.6. So there were 4 parameters that did not fit into the scoring criteria. The first one was promoter stake as a percentage of promoters' personal net worth. So when we look at 2 of their promoters, Ms. Padmaja Reddy, their founder, and Mr. Vijaya Sivasamy Reddy. So for them, their stake in Spandana is much greater than 50%, and they have put most of their money into this company. But when we look at Kedara Capital Fund 3, they have stakes in several other companies like Oliva Skin and Hair Clinic, Purple, etc. So their stake in Spandana is much lesser than 50%. And talking about board quality and autonomy, the percentage of independent directors is 44% only, which is lesser than 50%, because 4 out of 9 of their directors are independent, and their chairperson, Mrs. Abanti Mitra, is, however, an independent director. Uh, so it reduces the seriousness a little. The third one, whether the company pays rent to its promoters, KMP, or relatives of promoters or KMP. As of FY 2022, the company has paid a rent of rupees 12.95 million to Vijaya Sivasamy Reddy, who's their promoter. And the fourth one, about the company buying and selling from its promoters, KMP, or director controlled entities. The Spandana has bought fixed assets and goods from Abhiram Marketing Services Limited for 9 million, and it has sold fixed assets to Spandana Rural and Urban Development Organization for 3 million. So both these companies are actually founded by their founder, Ms. Padmaja Reddy. Moving on to their key metrics. By looking at these graphs, we can see that financial year 2022 was actually a tough year for them. AUM has fallen from 81,000 crores to 65,000 crores in FY 2022. So what happened in this year was that initially first their PAT had fallen from 1,200 million to 466 million due to a decline in their net interest income. And apart from this, they also had to pay a one-time settlement fees of 400 million to settle disputes with their MD. This year they saw a lot of management instability, and they were faced with their CEO and MD, Mrs. Padmaja Reddy, resigning. The AUM growth, the AUM growth was very weak because of these transitions in their operational and management level during quarter 4 of FY 2022. And in quarter 1 of FY 2022, there were lockdowns announced in several states because of wave 2 of COVID-19. And in quarter 3 of FY 2022, disbursements were stopped in November and December of 2022 because of the resignation of Ms. Padmaja Reddy and disruption of IT systems. In this quarter, they had also written off loans of about 100 crores. So yeah, FY 2022 was a challenging year for them. So because of this, we can also see that their ROE has fallen owing to a fall in their profits, and their GNPA and NNPA has seen a rise. But however, they have been recovering because looking at the 9-month data, their GNPA and NNPA have come back to initial levels, and their ROE has also been increasing. The book value per share, however, it's stable, and latest data shows that it's around 403 rupees. Moving on to their peer comparison, I have compared Spandana with Arman, Saturn Credit Care, Credit Access Grameen, and Five Star. Uh, Looking at AUM, Spandana's AUM of 68,000 crores is uh, is kind of average compared to its other peers, and here the highest is Credit Access Grameen. Even looking at the ROA and ROE, Spandana Sphoorty is almost in the same bracket as that of its other peers. However, it has a very high GNPA and NNPA at 5.3 and 2.5% respectively. Even its price to book value ratio is the lowest at 1.45, where Arman has the highest at 4.09. So all this data is based on the quarter 3 FY23 data. Moving on to the future outlook. So Spandana has a few products that it wants to pursue in the future, like two-wheeler vehicles, gold loans, affordable housing loans, etc. And by 2025, Spandana wants to increase its branches to 1,500. Its ROA to around 4.5 to 5.25%. Their ROE to 22 to around 24%, and their debt to equity ratio to 3.1. They've also kept an AUM goal of 15,000 crores by that they want to achieve by FY25. So they seek to do this by geographic expansion, scaling up employees, improving their productivity and efficiency, product refinements, etc. So I've attached the awards and recognitions here for reference. With this, I'd like to conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Wow, really very good presentation, actually, Bhavna. It was very crisp and clear. Um, for me, one question was why was there a GNPA? I mean, very high during FY22. I was not very clear on the explanation.
Actually, in FY22, they had given some provisions and write-offs of about 100 crores. And even I
And
was
this
trying to find out why it was so high, and I just figured out about their write-offs. I couldn't find out any
right,
other
right.
reasons.
This might be the impact of COVID, probably, right? Probably. Sure.
Yeah, they had, yeah, they also, there was some lockdowns due to wave 2 of COVID-19.
Hmm, got it. Okay. Right. Yeah, that's from my side. Nirvan?
Yeah, Bhavna, great presentation as always. So your content is always very crisp and your communication is extremely clear. So always appreciate that. Uh, with respect to Spandana, okay, there's a large part of, again, like I keep saying, a presentation is basically, or a company analysis is you trying to solve the mystery of a company, right? And you're telling a story. It's never the numbers. The numbers are a means to tell the correct story, right? I feel that you missed focusing on the most important part of the Spandana story. Uh, you mentioned it, but it came very late in the presentation, and also you sort of glossed over it very fast. Whereas I think this presentation should be centered around it. Uh, are you getting what I'm referring to?
Uh, I don't know, I'm not sure.
Sure. Okay. So I think the way Padmaja Reddy as a founder promoter fell out with Kedara Capital and then moved out of the company, uh, there was a huge spat actually. So she apparently felt that she was betrayed by Kedara and she was being forced out of the company. And I think at one point of time, because she was the MD, she was in a position of power. she apparently walked out with servers containing data of the company. And she started slandering Kedara Capital and the company on LinkedIn. So you can actually find her posts uh, on LinkedIn, completely going off at the PE fund and saying that she was being forced out of the company, etc. There was actually a period where the company did not have access to their loan data because the promoter decided to walk away with the servers. Yeah.
Oh,
So there was a huge fallout. And I think that that was one of the major reasons why their numbers took a huge dive in FY22. I don't exactly know whether that is the reason it caused the this crazy spike of 18%. That I think if you deep dive a little more, you will be able to exactly pinpoint. But I think that's one of the largest reasons. And now I think even though she's listed as a promoter, she's virtually out of the company, as you also mentioned. She's on the board of the directors, I think, as a non-executive director, right?
yeah, she's a non-executive director now.
Yeah. So she has no controlling power in the company right now. She's basically been forced out, and I think you will see her diluting her stake down to zero. So I think the story of this company has to be um, that this was a very strong founder who, founded the company and took it from strength to strength, which you've captured very well. How within 5 years it was one of the leading MFIs in India and all over the world. And then there was a then PE firms came in, and there was a huge fallout, and the founder started harming her own company. Whatever the merits of the arguments that can be, we can deep dive in it. But now the company is starting to sort of emerge from that huge spat under the Kedara management. So that is sort of the story, Bhavna, the way I look at it. So
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
yeah, so basically we need to sort of, it's available for cheap, it's not expensive. It has delivered good ROEs in the past. If you look at their ROEs in FY19, FY20, they were at 18-20%. So whether or not to bet on this company will be dependent on the fact that whether or not Kedara are the right people to trust, yeah, and Kedara management, will they be able to deliver or not? Yeah. So that's the way I would frame the story if I was pitching this stock to people. So you did a great job in capturing uh, the flow of the presentation as we have decided it. So if I were to judge the presentation in terms of adhering to the flow and format that we have decided, you would get 100 on 100 actually from very impressive work. And this is every presentation you do the same kind of work. So kudos
Thank
for that. But what I want to tell you in this feedback is that that is not your end goal. Yeah, your end goal is to capture the correct story of the company, right?
Yeah.
Because always remember, we are out here trying to make money, okay? Either by producing great quality research and helping others make money, or by trying to understand the stories ourselves and making money using these opportunities, right? So
Yeah.
we are not here to deliver crisp PPTs according to a format only. That is required as part of the process. Yeah. But the end goal is for us to unlock value. Is there value in this opportunity? Right. So don't forget that part. So
Yeah.
like this is the difference between a student mindset and the mindset of a working professional. Yeah. Understand the purpose of what we are doing and make sure that you while you present in a particular format, you don't lose sight of what the end objective is. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll keep that in mind for my next presentation.
Yeah. Great, Bhavna. Otherwise, great work. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll stop presenting, recording.
Yeah.
I think Nirvan, one